everyone, it's Di here from Diane's Dance. Excuse me, I've got an itchy eye, I've just got to scratch it. That's better. This is the card we're going to make today. Now this is going to be the last Christmas card for the year. Next week's project, which will be the last project for the year, is just a normal card. I think it's just because it's too close to Christmas, I'm not doing any more Christmas cards and I don't need any more. So this is the one we're doing. It's a punch art card and it's Father Christmas. How gorgeous is he? He looks absolutely gorgeous. Now on the inside it's just plain and has wishing you a Merry Christmas. So let's get stuck in and tell you what I'm using before I show you what pieces of card we need. Now I'm going to be using the same sentiment which comes from the Holly Jolly Wishes, and I'm using wishing you a Merry Christmas here, and I'm going to stamp that in real red ink. I'm using this embossing folder for, I see this beautiful, it's called Curly Q, Curls and Swirls, sorry, Curls and Swirls, Swirls and Curls, get it round the right way, Swirls and Curls. It is retired embossing folder, but I love it and I just think it just goes really nice for his beard. That is optional, and I've put that onto the instruction sheet for anybody that downloads the instruction sheet. You don't have to put a pattern on for his beard, but I just wanted to, so that's that. So now we're going to show you what we need. We're going to use, and I've done all the punching already, so we're going to use a 1.5, 1 3/4 circle. We're going to use, a 1-inch circle, a 3/4 inch circle, and a 1/2 inch circle, all in plain, and a 1-inch scallop circle. So, and I'm using Petal Pink for his face and his nose. So I will show you, or tell you what parts we need now. So let's pop him on one side and we'll go through all of this and I can show you what we need. So we need a card blank that measures 11 3/4 by 4 1/8. For my front layers, which I've got all screwed up here, you'll need a layer, and I'm using black because I think it just brings him out. That measures 5 5/8 by 3 7, 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. Now I have a white piece for the top here, and my white piece that I've made for the beard, which I've done all the embossing on, and they both measure 3 5/8 by 1 3/4 inches. And then for his face, my piece measures 3 5/8 by 1 7/8, because I want those to butt up against each other at the bottom here, and then a bit of a gap here. So that's for that. This is his, let's see where I'm at, his hat. Now we only need half of this, so if you're making this you could make 2. This piece measures 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, and we're just going to cut that on an angle across here like this. So we'll pop that on top of there. Then we have his moustache, which is a 1 3/4 inch circle, and we're going to cut that in half. I might as well cut that in half now so that it's done. You can measure it if you wish, or you can eyeball it. I've just eyeballed it. It might be a little bit out, but then whose moustache is 100%. For his mouth, I have a little one here that is a 1 inch, I think it is. No, 3/4 inch. Sorry. Piece. This is just for this bit that sticks out here for his mouth. So that's his mouth. For his eyes, I have 2 white circles that are, let me bring this up a tiny bit so I can read it a bit better, 1 inch, 2 blue circles, and you can have green if you want to have your Santa with green eyes, or brown, that doesn't really matter, but being he's from a Scandinavian area, I went with the blue. So these are 3/4 inch, and then 2 black ones that are measuring half an inch. Half an inch. Yep. Oh, excuse me, I've got an itchy nose today. And an itchy eye. His nose measures 1 inch circle. And then the bauble on the bottom, I've used a little bit of glitter paper here. just to do his bauble on the end of his hat here. It doesn't matter if you've just got plain white like this one is, but that doesn't matter. For the insert, we've got our black layer, which measures 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and our insert layer 2 to go on the top, which measures 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. So let's get cracking, shall we? Let's move all of these out of the way, and we're going to start out by scoring our main part of the card on the long side at the 5 7/8 mark, and then that's all the scoring we've got to do. And remembering, if you're using the same scoreboard as me, which is the Simply scoreboard from Stamping Up and their tool, you want to use the thin end on card, the thick end if you're using Designer Series paper. It seems to make a much better impression on the card. So that's what we do. So we're going to fold and burnish that over, and where is it? Here it is. And that's our card front. So we're going to bring in all our card front pieces here and pop them all up here out the way. As I say, I've already done all the embossing and all the cutting out, so this will be a fairly quick card. So we're going to glue our layer onto the front of our card, making sure that we've got our opening at the bottom. At least now here in Australia the weather is eventually starting to warm up. Some parts of the country are still getting terrible rains and floods, but other areas are starting to warm up and dry out. Okay, so we're going to pop our piece on the bottom for his beard first. And we just want to make sure that we get a nice edge on the 3 sides. So a nice even edge on these 3 sides here. And then we're going to pop his face on next. I'm going to have to put my glasses on, I can't see a thing today. And we're going to butt that up against the white of his beard, making sure again that we have a really nice even edge down both sides. Excuse me while I put my glasses on. And then we're going to pop his hat on. This is the brim part of his hat. You could have done this, I guess I could have done this in the glitter paper as well. Now for me, I'm actually going to leave that gap there so that it's a gap all the way around that's really nice and even. Okay, so that's that part done, and I'm going to then bring in I'm using Petal Pink for his face and Petal Pink ink here, and I'm just going to give him a few cheeks. So I'm just going to, just so he's got a bit of pink on his cheeks. Probably not going to see much of them anyway, so. And then I'm going to do that around his nose as well, so that it gives his nose a bit of depth. And that's all I'm going to use out of the Petal Pink. Oops, let's close that lid down. So we'll put his hat on first. Now, when I did my hat before, I just laid it down flat, but if you want, I'm going to put in there instructions that it's optional to lay it down flat on the card, or you can actually put it onto some dimensions. So we're going to cut this along the 3.5 inch side, starting at the right hand top and going down to the left hand bottom. So we're going to line that up in our trimmer and trim that off like so. If you feel comfortable in actually just got a bit of a rough edge, sorry. If you feel comfortable in just cutting it with scissors, go right ahead. Now if you're making two, well, you've got two hats, so that's really good. So, but I will actually pop this one up on some dimensions, the same as I did in my tutorial. As I say, this one here is laid down flat and it's glued down flat. So I'm going to pop this one up. I've only got little ones, so let's make sure I put that on the right way. I don't want to put his hat on upside down. That would be not very good, would it? So I'll put some down here. I could have pre-done these, I guess. I could have done that bit first, but you know me. I don't think ahead too good some days. I used the cold weather for that excuse now. What am I going to use now? The warm weather? I don't think... Come on, get off of there. I don't think so. Okay, so we're going to pop his hat on so that it is... This is the front of the card, like so. So this black layer is showing, but not the white or the pink layer underneath, across where his hat is. And that's his hat on there, like so. And we're going to pop a couple of dimensions onto the bottom of his bauble on his hat, and his hat is done. Come on, get off of there. Oh my goodness, did that come off? Yes, it did. Get in the bin. So we're going to pop his bauble on the bottom just down here. So now we're going to work on the rest of his face. So I'm going to glue his eyes together. Oops, I still haven't got my pin back in the glue. I'm going to glue his eyes together. Starting with the blue circle inside the white, and then the black one. And do that with both of them. Now you don't want to make him cross-eyed, so he hasn't had that many drinks yet. And my gel pen run out, so I've got my white chalk pen, which I can't get the lid off of. There we go. And I'm just going to put him a couple little marks around on his eyes like this, which actually looks like the light is shining on his eyes. And I'm going to glue his eyes down flat. So that way I can paint his eye underneath there. Now I think I've got one of those things in the way, so I might actually just trim one of his eyes off a little bit so it pokes under there better. That's better. And making sure you get your shines going both the same way. We're then going to pop his nose up on some dimensions. Oh my goodness, get off of there. I'm really not having much luck getting these things off today, am I? They're all over the floor. I'll have to get the vacuum cleaner out afterwards. And we're just going to pop this nose so that it just tucks over the beard part. And then I'm going to cut his tongue or his lips down, because I don't need that whole piece, and just pop that underneath his nose, like so. Oops, stay there, that's him. And then I can just pop some more dimensions onto the back of his moustache, or you can lay them down flat depending on how you feel. I should have got the large ones out. I bought some the other day and they came with my last order, but never mind, the little ones have done the job. Let's pull all these bits off. And then we're going to just place his moustache onto his face, like so. Just how you want it. I'm going to pull this piece of his bauble up a bit so that he can actually go, his moustache goes underneath it. And that's the front of the card. Now, for me, I don't want to put a saying on here, but if you wanted to, you could put something up here with like a Merry Christmas or whatever you liked on the front of the card. So now we're going to work on the inside, and we're just going to use a little bit of real red ink, and we're going to stamp the words we wish you a Merry Christmas into the centre of our white piece of card. And glue that to our black piece. And pop that onto the inside of our card. Making sure not to get that stamp on the front of the card. So if you wanted to put something on there, you could put a white label and stamp something, or you could white emboss or silver emboss on the front of the card on top of his hat here. Merry Christmas or ho 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 or whatever you wanted to. But that's my card for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's the last Christmas card for 2021. I'm putting a pen in my ink, sorry. It's the last Christmas card for 2021. Next week is the final project for 2021. So, and it will be I think it's a birthday card, because I've already actually done it, so I'm a little bit ahead on some projects. So that's it for the year in Christmas, and I hope you've enjoyed that one. I think he's gorgeous, and I hope you have a go. And if you would like the written tutorial for this, you will find the link down below here at Di's Den for Stamping, Crafting and Tutorials on my Facebook group, and it's free to join, and the tutorials are free. So I look forward to seeing you there. Bye for now.